And we're back! Hi! This is Uncle Dr. Ernie here on More Awesome Stuff Badly. In our last episode, we finally gave up all the clever things we were trying to do, and we're now trying to brute force stuff an SVG patch for doing graphics into reactive-coffee. Miss Whitney and I are still using a bizarre combination of Twitch and Google Plus Hangouts to have a conversation, and I still don't know whether you can hear her or not, but
Hello.
all right, so I've had this experience listening to a podcast where my left earphone had died, so you could hear one person talking but not the other person. And that's probably kind of what this will feel like to people if it doesn't come through. Anyway, when last we left our heroes, we were able to do everything except deal with the children. Story of my life. Okay, so we need some way to tell whether our element is...
Dr. Ernie.
Yes. Hello?
Would you mind increasing the font size of your source code?
Sure.
Just a bit? Great. Thank you.
Yes. Should have thought about that sooner. Good to have another pair of eyeballs here. Okay. Let's see. We want to check and see if we can create this, if the child nodes are being created and whether they exist, and if so, what their status is. So these are being created with append child, and so that does seem like the right way to test for their existence. Give it a shot.
Okay.
Yes, it is creating something. What is that big long log message? That is element?
Wow.
That looks like a little excessive there.
Yeah.
What am I actually logging? Where were we? We were in our test. Right. So elf was the thing that was being created there. It is the right error message, right? That is where all that's happening. Yeah, and actually, let's see, it's contents null, contents has an object, contents null has an object. So, let's just see if there's any other error messages. Oh, where are those other error messages coming from? Here? Probably. Okay. Okay. So this is the good news. It is actually making it through the creation process without dying, which is great. So we're not worried about, well, not at the moment worried about it. We may be worried about it shortly. So the issue is that after it's created it, what is happening to it? So it should be returning this element, and it does in the first two cases, in that it is, wait. No, that was the jQuery version. This is our SVG version. It's finding the element. It has attributes. It's just where the children get involved if things get wacky. This is probably not going to work for us since we did let's just check. It has an element there we did before. Yeah, so this is our, let's put some strings there so we can tell what's going on. Now we have that. Now we grunt. Kids.length is the failure.
Kids is undefined.
Okay, so the top element is an SV direct element. And so asking for the child nodes of element is there. So we have an element. Since we know it's an element, can we just look for children? So do we even have the function there, much less the result of it? That's an interesting question. So what is an SVG element? Okay, so there's a couple of questions going on here. First of all, is any children actually ever being added? And that's something we could probably check with our debugger here.
Okay.
We should be able to say something like what? Oh, our theory was that 2 nodes is actually creating something. We should probably validate that hypothesis. Okay, not seeing it actually trying to add anything. Do you?
No.
Okay.
That's a lot.
So then, okay, it's got some contents. It is not treating it as an obs array. And if that's the case, then what is it doing? There are contents, which is something. And then this is obcell. And then this is
And we are expecting contents to be an obs array?
that's what I thought it was, but I think wrong. It's an observer. It's a cell because you're binding it. The array is being bound as an observer cell, which is learning. I did not realize that. Okay, so when we bind it that way, we're creating an observer cell, which is fine. And then we are doing our setting this to update SVG contents. And once we do that, then what? First make sure that that's completing without error. And then update SVG contents, which we manually create here, is where we create our children. This is where there ought to be some children. Okay.
Undefined.
So the element definitely exists. Children is undefined, and that becomes a question for over here. We're not getting an unknown type error thrown. So that first. Okay. Update SVG contents, where the contents are an SVG element. Which is presumably our animate transform. And because it's not an array, it's doing that. It's not a string. It should be throwing the unknown type for contents, but I'm not seeing that error.
So can you take a second to walk me through quickly so I can...
That's good, because I have no idea what's going on either. Okay, so we were making our tags. If we don't, there's two parts. The first dictionary is the attributes. The second list is the contents.
Okay.
Or the second thing is the contents. Typically, the attributes are a dictionary and the contents are a list, but not necessarily. In fact, in this particular case, they're this bindy thing, which is our observable cell, which means that rather than having a static value, it is a value that continually changes based on reactive behaviors. So,
Right.
so I could have, I mean, in this case, it doesn't really do anything, but in the real world, this should have some bound values that are recalculated every time it's called.
Okay.
We create our element, we set some basic properties, yay. Now we make contents if there are any. If it's an observable array, we do a whole bunch of stuff here. But in this particular case, we're asking if it's just an observable cell. Then we create this on sub thing with SVG contents. So that basically says we should update the contents of this element using these values. Or that value. And that value, we know up here, is actually an SVG element. And then we clear out the existing element, the existing children, and if it's an array of contents, then let's just make this explicit. String is error. And I have no idea what this thing is actually calling, so let's take a look at that. So it is an array.
Okay.
So something is, wait, it's a thing of type SVG element, but it is an array. That's unexpected. And then, so the next thing we need to do is to add equals break that out and see actually what is being added. In fact, are we here hitting a bug in the to add? SVG contents is array object SVG element, which kind of makes sense, as this is just being passed straight through. What if SVG elements even have children? That would be an awkward. DOM level 2 core, which is the user gets a node list containing the children of an element. Excuse me, use this. I really miss the equivalent of Ruby's, show all methods on this object.
Yeah.
Let's see. The path that will. Element by tag name. Child nodes. We know element.firstChild works because it's not blowing up there. So let's see if that actually changes anything. Wait. Here's the thing that's weird. It already shows it having a first child.
Can you check this out?
Sorry?
Can you check this out? I'll chat it to you, the link to the Stack Overflow post.
Okay.
I sent you a message in the Hangout.
Oh, okay.
So if you'll scroll down, it looks like they had to do some weird nested indices to get at the child
All selections are grouped implicitly. Ah, interesting. Good pairing. Let's see.
I'm wondering if this is why first child or last child may work, but direct access of the children does not.
Yeah. Because there's all this weird grouping that goes on, isn't there? Although it gives you 0 and 0, but okay. So we have an element, right? Okay, this is getting too noisy for me to understand, so let me go ahead and closing this out because that's not our current problem. Okay, this would be contents directly. Okay, that's there. Some indentation in here too. So this. So we have an element. We want to give it some contents. So initially, it should have that.
Okay, yeah.
Right, and then at the beginning, first child should be empty, I would think. Certainly after this, it should be empty. And then if it is an array, we'll check again and see whether or not it has a first child. Okay. First child is null.
Access the children. Are we calling child nodes?
No, we're just calling first child at the moment, just to see what's happening here. And okay, this is well behaved, in that our contents are that. The first child is null. Afterwards, first child is an SVG element. Okay, so we've confirmed that there is a first child, which is awesome.
Okay.
And then, so this is all irrelevant. The issue part is that broke something, right? No, it's just failing normally. But,
yes.
Children are added. Now the question is, what can they be discovered as? Right? They show up as children. They show up as child nodes. Child nodes. Child nodes. Do they show up as an array element? This is the most brutish brute force.
Sure.
So child nodes works, children and brackets do not.
Right.
And then so we get rid of that. And then we ask, can we do this? What am I doing? I was doing this. That's what I meant to do. Oof. Backwards. Okay. Aha! So child node 0 is the magic incantation we are looking for. And that's failing in an actual test. So if we go here, let me just the bugging stick goes here, then this should be child nodes. That should work. Boom!
Awesome.
All right. Oh, that was way more difficult than it needed to be, but that's what happens when you're doing awesome stuff badly. Okay, now we go through and remove all of our logging messages and make sure it still works. And that is step one, getting the code actually running in a test environment. And what was really involved? So basically we tried a lot of shortcuts which did not work at all. We basically had to end up understanding pretty much all of the code and manually rewriting it as a duplicate in order to make it create the tags. Search for the word console.log without that's what I should do. So it's only in my code, or at least limits it to just the. This is all the other helper files in the whole node modules. There's one of the awkward things with TextMate, and so Node creates copies of everything everywhere. That's what avoids stomping on other modules, which is brilliant, but a real pain. Okay, so then where were we? Console star. That looks like a validator message, so we'll just go with that. Commit.am, move debugging, logs, status. Okay, grunt. Let's run the whole grunt suite.
Okay.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that those warnings were there beforehand. Okay, now, it's been so long, let's see if we can merge this puppy back. So, git checkout master, git merge, let me make a branch. It's all taking place on a git merge dash d element ns. Okay. Okay. Dash d. Yep. And then let's just run grunt one more time. And then we go into our GitHub client and we sync. Since I can't figure out how to make it do that nicely from the command line. And then we go up back to our reactive-coffee here. And then look at our one commit behind Yang Master. So we need to pull date.
Do we need to fetch this from?
Right.
The
So
original repository?
right. The what is the relevant piece here? Master. Um, my brain is shutting down, so you feel like doing some research on this to think about what it's supposed to be doing. You could actually share your screen.
Okay, so are you trying to pull in the latest commit from the original project?
Right, so what we need to do is pull in Yang's latest changes into ours. Actually, and I think that means we have to pull that down. I thought I'd actually set.
I have a remote set for the.
Okay, yes, I do have an upstream. Yes,
repository?
Right. I did do that.
Okay.
So I've done this once before. So then what? Merge.
You can do a fetch.
Do I have to pull upstream? Fetch upstream?
Yeah.
Ah, there we go. And then git merge.
Awesome.
And then git merge.
Yeah. Merge upstream with your current branch.
Upstream / master. Whoa.
Oh no. We have some merge conflicts.
So they're all in the dist tree. Deleted by us. Why did we do that?
In the dist directory before doing the fetch.
Hmm? Yes, I didn't intend to change anything there. Okay. Let's make sure we have conflicts. So most of the conflicts are in the dist directory, but there is a merge conflict in source reactive-coffee. That's the substantive one. Let's do that one first.
Okay.
Let's see, do we actually see the, yes, here it is. rxt.makeTag equals this. Does he not have ours? Okay, I'm thoroughly confused, so let's go back and look at this here. Make sure it's clean sense of what's actually here. So make tag is the, okay, so there's update contents. Okay, that looks, so this is what he has in his upstream, and oh, that may have just been a typo on my part. List of contents, is that actually still here? Ah, seems like he's gotten rid of auto sub contents. So he's auto sub. He's gotten rid of auto sub contents.
Okay.
Which we are fine getting rid of since we don't use it. Then Oops, now we have two different versions of make tag here. So this is his new make tag, which inlines that. Whatever used to be an auto-sub contents has been thrown in there for some reason. Runs just fine. So what I wanted to do is git check out dist from screen. Merged. Okay, now let's look at this. Okay, let's press this. And fix merge conflicts in source. Okay. And then portion of this root branch, but that would get a bit more confusing for me. And then in dist, we had nothing there. So let's. Oh, maybe that was what was the problem.
Oh, we have it in our get ignore. Okay.
Right.
It seems like the original author of the repository should include that directory in the get ignore as well. But
maybe I don't know if that was something we added or. It's a good question whether the get ignore was that something that I added or was that. Maybe. Let's see, what does it look like on the repository? Whether I ignore. No, so I didn't. He had it in dist. He does have dist in his get ignore, but he may not have actually removed the dist files from the repository.
Right, it looks like they got pushed up.
And so let's let's just issue. There's our project here. Project. This is me. This is him. This is the project. These are the issues. Okay. And, Microsoft. That was not what I wanted. There we go. Wait, how am I not able to get that? That was weird. Let's get this screen down. That's probably part of the confusion. There we go. Let's see. Looks good. Oops. Diet directory. Okay. Okay. Oh, that was his. Right there. Looks like.
All right.
Okay. Now we are way ahead of the game. Yay. Now, what's happening with our pull request? Status isn't passing. Oh, maybe because it's in progress.
Yeah. So you're using Travis for continuous integration?
I'm not, but he is, apparently.
Oh, okay. Great.
So apparently it's happening on... Okay. Cool, I did not know it was doing that automatically. So anyway, that's cool. However, the fact that we've got the test to pass is not quite the same as actually getting it to work.
Right.
Because last time it looked like it was fine, but we had all these weird rendering issues. So what I think we need to do next is, and also I don't know how long it's going to take for them to push out a new build of reactive-coffee to the CDN. Because right now, going way back to what we were trying to do in the first place was not messing around with reactive-coffee, but was messing around with this hour of node. So this is where we had some CoffeeScript files that we were trying to render. And in particular, these are currently dragging CoffeeScript in from the CDN here. 0.05. That does not look like the right thing at all. So what we need to do is change our code to use the server-side version of reactive-coffee.
Right.
And then test it against the local code. So,
did we have a development version of reactive-coffee locally?
That's what we were working on, right? That's our local copy.
Right, as part of this project.
Right.
The our. Okay.
So, I mean, the thing we were working on, right, is, you know, the reactive-coffee project. So we have a local copy that we've been hacking on. We also should have, we also have a local copy that was pulled from NPM, which I should probably update in case he's pushed a new version lately. I'm not sure what that does. So I suggest we take a 10-minute break, and then around 3:30 we go back and first change this thing to work with the pristine local copy of reactive coffee, and then try to get it to work with our local copy of reactive coffee and see if we can get the SVG stuff to work.
Okay.
All right?
Cool. Yeah.
You hanging in there?
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
See you in 10.
I will stop the streaming. Goodbye.